the lovely Mel is with us now. Mel has been to Penzance at the Redwing Gallery to show us the Community Club Pillowcase Exhibition. This is the part of the Who Does Works project led by Active Plus, aiming to get people into work, training or an education. The Community Club have been working on the Pillowcase exhibition to express what community means to them. Good morning, Mel.
Good morning. How are you two?
Good morning.
Excitable.
Excitable.
I think that's the best way of putting it. It's just how it goes on it. Even if we're absolutely tired, we come on and like, oh, energy, bingo.
Boom.
What do they put in the coffee?
That's great because it's coming through the airwaves to me, so that's wonderful.
Well, you know what? While we're giving you that energy, can we ask you something about this question for the nation? What's your opinion on it? What do you think? Do you think you'd get married at first sight? Do you not know? Or maybe it's just not for you?
Having been married, no.
Wow, okay, flipping heck.
That says a lot, doesn't it?
That does. The tone of your voice.
Before you buy, that's what I say.
Oh my goodness me, before we get onto the jokes that are definitely not radio worthy, we'll get straight onto the questions, shall we, Mel?
Please do.
Oh my goodness me. Well, obviously, thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. Firstly, can you tell us a bit about your role at Who Dares Works, running the community clubs?
Yes, certainly. So I work across Hale, Helston and Penzance, and I run Who Dares Works community clubs. So that's where participants are referred through the project into my community clubs. And we work to create non-isolation, so socialising, upskilling, volunteering for projects in the community. I try and get participants to Skillshare. So if they've got a hobby that they really enjoy, that they perhaps haven't even thought about sharing with other people, then I encourage that. We also have a process of helping people with presentations. So if they're a little bit nervous about talking in front of people, or they're not sure how to go about planning a presentation in front of the group, then that's something that we do. We also encourage a thing called co-produce work, which is getting our participants to have a voice in the community. So, for instance, if a project is going on in the community that would like to know what people and users, service users, think about it, I will then present that to my group across the 3 community clubs, and I get their personal feedback on how it impacts on them, and then they can actually make changes in their own community by having a voice.
Brilliant. I mean, what a fantastic project it sounds like. I want to talk to you a bit about training and education. Is that the kind of thing that you provide support with as well?
So with the community club, we're not specifically training and education. However, that does come into community club. My role is to really support those that are not sure about the next step. So they might not be work ready. They might not be ready for training yet. It might just be that they need the first steps out of the house. And I think COVID and lockdown really amplified those anxieties, those feelings around, I don't want to go out of the house, I don't want to mix with people. So community club is a lovely way in to getting like-minded people from sort of similar backgrounds who might not be ready for that first initial step into work. But what we do is get them to work collaboratively with each other, to begin to learn to be aspiring to projects, to find their purpose. It might be direction they want. It might just be sitting. I mean, sometimes I have participants that come in, they don't want to do anything, but they just want to sit and be in a group of people. And that's absolutely fine. So we're kind of like the first steps to those training, to the education side, and volunteering as well is a lovely in to getting people's mindset changed for that. Sometimes we've done beach cleans, we've gone out and made seed bombs, and then we've done like guerrilla planting where we throw these little seed bombs out. So there's little projects, little charity works that we do that are these inroads back into finding an identity and a purpose and where they sit in the community themselves.
That's absolutely lovely. I must admit, I can definitely see what you mean about just getting people back out. Once you've gone into that bubble mentally, it's so hard to just get yourself back out there. Yeah, and like you were saying then, some people just want to sit and be near people. I find it's the atmosphere of just being near a group that sort of gives you just enough social interaction without having to do anything yourself, and it enables you to do it without the anxiety of having to actually talk to people. Very often, for all my life, myself and my mum have said the same thing. Sometimes you just want to be with your friends, but not actually be there interacting with them or chatting with you. You just want to be near the people.
Yeah,
it really makes a heck of a difference. I want to talk now about the Community Club Pillowcase exhibition. This is at the lovely Redwing Gallery. Could you tell us what that project has been all about?
Absolutely. So it started off, as I was talking about earlier, about working collaboratively with the participants. It was an idea that what I tend to do sometimes is get them to facilitate ideas. And we got chatting and I said, OK, group, what is it you'd like to do? And one of them piped up and said, I've seen something on Facebook around community artwork. It's in Penzance. I don't have a contact name or number or anything, but I know that Facebook people are getting together and doing this. Well, as it was, I couldn't track down where this project was going on. So I thought to myself, well, why don't we think about, because I love art, I love anything craft, why don't we think about how we can pull something together across the 3 community clubs, Hale, Houston and Penzance, and something we can all work on over the weeks and work towards a goal of actually showing our work out in the community. And as it happens, I'm very interested in David Hockney's work, and he happened to come on a programme, and he was talking about the Bayeux Tapestry and how he's doing a piece of work which links in to that sort of theme. And as I was sort of going about my day after I'd watched that, we sometimes get these little community books that come through the door, and I have one on the Roseland, what's going on, and I happened to flick through it, and I saw that there was a laundry service, and I thought, well, wouldn't it be funny if we had lots of, rather than using canvas, using material? And that's kind of how it all came about with the pillowcases. There was a link between using material that might end up in landfill, and then there was a link about maybe the Bayeux Tapestry, which was on material. And then the idea was born, hey, why don't we marry all this together, have pillowcases, have something themed around the community, and then get all of our participants to express what their thoughts are on that theme of community. And that was how it was born. And then as I was out in Penzance just before my community club that I run there, I thought I'd just pop down the road and see what was around, if there was anywhere I could see of a place to actually hang it. And that's where I came across the Redwing Gallery, popped in there, had a chat with them, and before I knew it, I'd booked a date and secured a week in there for the pillowcases to hang. The next thing then was to actually get them to design and create these pillowcases.
Wow. I mean, I love I love hearing the story behind it, because you see these amazing projects, but you never really know all the organisation and where these ideas come from. So it's lovely to hear that. And obviously, most important question as well, like, where did you get all the pillowcases from?
Right, so as I was saying, I was looking through this little community book, and it was a laundrette called White Cloud Laundrette in St Austell, and I'm very much of the thought that if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
And I thought, I am just going to ring them up, and they can only say no. And I said, look, I work for Who Dares Works, and we run these community clubs across the West. I wonder if you have any excess pillowcases or sheets that you don't need anymore, that have come from hotels that have maybe got blemishes on them that they don't want back. Do you have any that you would be prepared to let me have? 20, 30 would do. And got chatting, and they said, well, we're in your area. We'll drop them to your house. And yes, we've got about 60 I can give you in a bag. We'll drop them off. And literally the next day, I had a whole bag of pillowcases to myself.
It sounds like they were happy to get rid of them.
Yes.
I mean, fantastic though. Really helped the cause. So I'm going to talk about the people involved now, because obviously you have such a diverse, creative group there. There must have been a plethora of skills involved. Have the group been sharing these skills?
So I very much, to start with, what we did was we explored the word community and what it meant to them. And so we tried to categorise all the things that community meant. We sort of did like word clouds. We created a little house with rooms, and then within that, the word community, and then all the associated words that came out of that and the different themes. And then it was really just saying to them, here's a pillowcase with the underlying word community. Express yourself. We had quite a few people saying, I'm not expressive, I'm not creative, I don't know what to do. So then we explored with them, what are your hobbies? What do you enjoy doing? There was one chap that very much didn't want to draw or paint, but he loved planets. And so I said, right, okay, well, let's think about planets. Let's think about, it's very, very sort of off bat, how is that involved in community? But if you think about it, there's a vast space, and then within that, there's millions of planets and stars, and and that in itself is a community. So why not express yourself through that idea? So we began to just explore with one another what we enjoy doing. There was another lady that again wasn't interested in creativity or crafting, but she loved taking her dog for a walk, and she enjoyed picking up sea glass. And she created one of the most beautiful trees with shells and sea glass and driftwood. And there was things just coming up that I had no idea. It kind of blew my mind. And they hadn't been shown how to do this earlier. I provided material, I provided glue guns, I provided the pillowcases, and the rest was up to them. And they just went away and they created it.
That's so good. And I think that just proves, doesn't it, how important and how great these community clubs are. What would you say, Mel, is your favourite part about running these events?
My favourite part about running these events is always what the participants come up with. They constantly surprise and amaze me, and this last exhibition has just left me speechless. The hard work, taking the work home with them, getting it done to a deadline, and just their fight and their challenge and overcoming the difficulties. Some of the backstories I know, and I think, wow, you turn up to Community Club each week and you apply yourself, and whatever I ask of you, you fulfill it, and you fulfill it in better ways than I can ever imagine. So for me, it's those individual stories, it's those individuals that come each week and show a side to themselves that they didn't even know they had. So it's kind of aspiring to being the best version of yourself, which they present to me each time, which is wonderful.
That's really lovely and heartwarming, that. Mel, thank you so much for all of this. I know you were kind enough to show our Alex around the exhibition last week. Could you give us a bit of an introduction to the wonderful Community Club Pillowcase Exhibition?
Yes, certainly. So the Community Club Pillowcase Exhibition, which was created and designed by the participants of Hale, Helston and Penzance Community Club. A wonderful opportunity to walk around and see the individual ideas, a collaborative piece of work which has inspired and will continue to inspire. And we're hoping to continue these exhibitions long into the future. And I'm currently trying to secure some new spaces for this to be shown. So I really hope you all enjoy it and really appreciate the collaborative and individual efforts that have gone into this exhibition. Hi, my name's Melanie, and I run community clubs for Who Dares Works. We've done an amazing project which I would like you to come along to in the Redwing Gallery here. So if you follow me, I'll take you upstairs. And now what we're doing is we're entering into a wonderful space where our community club participants have created some wonderful pieces of magic on pillowcases, believe it or not. Come with me. So here we are, we have our first piece. This is a crisp packet apron, absolutely wonderful, and you can use it, so it's functional as well, very creative, and just wonderful to look at, lots of colours, and also it's about upcycling and not throwing things into landfill, but reusing and coming up with clever, innovative ways to do that. Okay, so let's go further up the stairs. We've got some lovely work here with acrylic inks, and if you look really closely, there's some lovely words in here, all about community, society. We've got sorrow, we've got sunshine, all the things that make up a community, and some wonderful words to go with that. We've also got some tie-dye, and we've got a little mermaid here, which is wonderful. And we've also got a wonderful piece here of the sea, done with tiny bits of acrylic pen, and there's even a shoal of fish you can see. So I guess before we go any further, I need to let you know what we're doing. So as I say, my name's Melanie, and I work for a group called Who Dares Works. We get people back into work, training and education, and Who Dares Works works with 17 partners. I am part of Chaos, but we work in collaboration with Who Dares Works to create Community Club. Community Club runs from Hale, Helston and Penzance, and our participants are normally unemployed and are either looking for work, job search, or wish to volunteer. And this wonderful exhibition really represents the creativity, the collaborative work, soft skills, socialising, and really just working together. One of the things we were donated some pillowcases from White Cloud Laundry. They would have gone into landfill. And I came up with the idea by actually chatting to my group of participants in Penzance. One of the participants had a fantastic idea of working with. She'd seen on Facebook that there was a community art group going on where they were actually exhibiting works from communities. And so I sort of had an idea that perhaps we could do something with all these pillowcases that would have gone into landfill. Perhaps we could put our own stamp on them. And by doing that, I brought them back into Community Club and I said, right, let's think of what community means to you. How would you define it? And it can be in any way you wish. And that's basically how it all began. Just the word community, that theme underpinning all the work. And then as I take you around, you'll see just what emerged from that tiny idea. Participants were tasked in having been given a pillowcase to interpret community theme in any way, which way they wanted to. And so basically they were working in Community Club, they were taking their pillowcases home, they were working together and giving each other ideas. And you'll see that they were cutting, printing, sewing, they were doing beaded work, they were stenciling, and it's beyond anything I could have hoped for, and it's absolutely wonderful. So first of all, I think it's best if we sort of start from here. We're sort of covering Cornwall in this picture. We had a participant who, when he first arrived at Community Club, was very quiet. He found it very difficult to socialise, and he often said to me, "I'm not creative." And what we ended up with was a wonderful piece of his interpretation of his idea of community. And you'll see underneath there's a photograph. And this photograph really underpins the beginning of the idea. One of the things we do at Community Club is a thing called co-produce work, where I get participants to have a voice in the community. So they come up with ideas of what they want to do, what they want to represent, and how they wish to make an impact on their community. And through a conversation with a participant at Penzance, they had seen an idea on Facebook about community artwork. And that was basically how this was born. And unfortunately, she left the group before we actually started doing the pillowcase project. But what she did do in her new address, she remembered what we'd spoken about, and she took a photograph, because that was one of the things she really enjoyed, and sent me it in the post. And I thought it was a lovely idea to actually have this photo here, as it was the sort of sparking point of this whole creation and this whole exhibition. Okay, so let's go round. Again, we've got some lovely work here using acrylics. This particular participant, she has a real ability to do lovely creations of animals in this wonderful style. And one of the other things we do at Community Club is a thing called Skillshare. And this particular participant did a masterclass for us. She got a board, she did a step-by-step guide of how to draw a dog's face. And it really encouraged other participants to have a go at art. They saw how, actually, if it's broken down, it was quite easy to follow. And it was great for this participant and to see her confidence grow and to actually present in front of a group of people. And this was a participant that when she started, she would only come in with her mum and she wouldn't take her coat off. So you can see that the benefits of Community Club and doing something creative like this. We've got some other bits here, some more acrylics. This participant did some wonderful sewing, really painstaking, was taking it home in the evenings and then coming again to Community Club to complete it. So it was a really lovely way of people chatting, soft skills, being together, feeling like they were all working towards one goal. And I think this sort of exhibition showed that in its final steps. We have another lady here. One of the other things we do is we get involved with community projects outside of Who Dares Works. So something that we did back in the beginning of 2021 was a thing called the Blue Heart campaign, which was basically creating small seed bombs which were thrown. It's a bit like guerrilla planting, where we'd throw the seed bomb into an unused piece of area, and then we'd put a small wooden heart and then just note on it if it was a sort of for bees, for ladybirds, for birds, that kind of thing, and just let the flowers grow, and you were creating your own little ecosystem. So this particular participant caught that idea, and she wanted to represent what we did because she enjoyed doing that so much. She caught that in doing some felting and taking a snapshot of for her, that felt like community, because community is across everything. It's wildlife, it's being in nature, it's communities as a whole. So that was her kind of interpretation. We have another wonderful one here, really exuberant. There's lots of things going on here, flags and shells and hearts and love. And I think as we were actually putting these wonderful pillowcases up, it was amazing how things started to emerge and flowed in the exhibition, and we had sort of pieces that kind of sat well with one another. So the sort of the enjoyment and the love of the seed bomb campaign actually sits well with the love and the exuberance of enjoying what you do and taking notice, and really seeing what's around you. Okay, I'll just bring your attention to these as well. That are dotted around are some little bags, and we've had a lady, or a couple of ladies actually, from Penzance. One of the ladies has been taking these home and doing tiny little beadwork, and she said that's really helped with her mental health. There was one time when she got quite anxious regarding an incident outside when she was in the car, and she was very, very upset, and she said she got home and she remembered that she was doing these little bags for Community Club, and she said it actually helped to anchor her emotions and helped her to just focus back and stop panicking. So again, it shows how powerful art and creativity can actually be for your mental health and your state of mind. One of the things about Community Club is we like to focus on the 5 ways of well-being. So that's about giving, it's about learning, it's about being active, it's about connecting, and it's also about taking notice. So these are the things that can really help with your mental health. It can really help with thinking about what can you change in order to feel better, in order to get out, and especially during lockdown, I think everybody took a kind of a reset button and thought about, what are the things that I can start learning. One of the things I did was macrame. I actually really enjoyed doing that. So it's just little things that you can change. Even if it's one thing a day or one thing a week, you're making a difference and not giving into your anxieties. Okay, this is a lovely one. We had a lady that is really got into doing patterns. She does a lot of jigsaws, and just recently she started stenciling onto the pillowcases, and with little gel pens, using the paper underneath the pillowcase to stencil, and then using lovely colours to pick out the wonderful patterns. And as you can see, there's a lovely bag here. So what we've been doing is we've been taking her patterns and using another pillowcase to create tiny bags. We're actually connecting the two, and then these will be given out in the public as what we call acts of kindness. So again, it's about engagement. It's about getting people to know what Who Dares Works is about, what Active Plus is about, and getting people that are unemployed, over 18, looking for work, training or education, or they may not even be at that point yet. They might just need that feeling of social inclusion, and these little bags will represent that. So again, it's participants making a difference and getting involved in community projects through Community Club. This is a wonderful piece. It's actually from a gentleman that is into 3D computer programming, and he brought along his laptop into Community Club, and he showed me the idea he had, and we sat and we talked about how he could show community through his 3D work, and bit by bit he broke down the image using words as almost like typography, where the words come alive as well. And he came up with this wonderful piece. He had like the original picture, as you can see, and then all the 5 elements he took out of that picture, and then added words to it. which kind of represented all those elements of community. And he's also going to be doing a presentation. Another thing we love to do is Skillshare, and he will be doing a short presentation on how to create from a 3D package on his computer, which the other participants are really, really keen to learn about. So again, it's about sharing, it's inclusion, and socialising and soft skills. Another wonderful piece here, got some lovely wording around this, and again the feedback from the participants was it was helping their mental health. They had something to go away with, work on at home, and also be very proud of that it would end up in an exhibition like this. So absolutely wonderful stuff. Again, we've got some wonderful tie-dye. This one I love. It's one of my participants' garden, and I don't know if you can see there's like a table, her chairs, and then she's got some wind chimes, which are actually represented by the jewellery. She had a lot of birds come into her garden, and she's caught like the patio. There's sewing in this, there's felting, and there's also acrylic paints in that. So a real mixed media in this one. From time to time as well, throughout the exhibition, I've captured some comments. So I wanted to represent the participants for the work they've done so that they could actually use a piece of wording which would uphold their the work they've done to go alongside it. And there's a lovely piece here around her expectations, her focus, her challenge of thinking about the pillowcase, and then the love of actually doing it. So life is about maybe overcoming challenges step by step. If you make one small change, it can make a vast difference. And, looking around here, we can see what a group of people can do when they all put their minds to one thing. So we've got this wonderful piece here. These are tiny little vignettes almost of the wonderful sightseeing, historic community. It represents all the wonderful things in Cornwall that we have. And as I say, any object really is about community. And we should be very proud of what we've got down here. Again, we've got some wonderful sewing here, saying find your little bit of paradise. Absolutely lovely. And again, painstakingly sewed onto the pillowcase to represent, what we want, that we're finding in here. Really, we've got little vignettes of our own little bit of paradise. So these pillowcases have been paradise for our participants as they've gone along. Again, we've got some beaded work here. One of the things that throughout lockdown I found as I was talking to my participants is quite a few of them had started doing these beaded pictures. So it's a bit like paint by numbers, but actually using gems, coloured gems. And it seems to have been quite a helpful pastime for people. And so I was actually donated. One participant had given me about 20 of these that she didn't want anymore. And I thought, we've really got to get them in the exhibition and show them off, because people have worked really hard to get these created. And I think it sort of really represents how we can help ourselves through being creative, and how powerful, and you end up with something beautiful that you can enjoy, for months and months and years to come, really. So that's wonderful. Now, this is a really lovely piece. Now, this was from a young lady. She wasn't actually attending Community Club, but she'd heard about it through her mentor. So at Who Dares Works, we partner with Pentraeth, We Are With You, those kind of organisations. And the mentors, I work with them quite closely to encourage referrals of participants into Community Club. This particular young lady, she's not in Community Club. However, she heard about the pillowcase project, and she really, really wanted to take part. So out of the blue, while I was in the middle of Community Club, I heard a knock on the door, and there was a young lady there with her mum, and she said, "Here you are, here's my pillowcase, and I was absolutely blown away with the detail, these tiny strawberries, the poppy, and it really represented, I thought, beautifully Community Club and the community and the feel, because one of the things is what we do as well is volunteering. So it can be beach cleans, it can be going into the community and helping, doing like incredible edibles with vegetable patches, that kind of thing. So she really captured all the elements of that, which was absolutely wonderful. And I did encourage her to come in, but she was a little bit maybe another time. But so great that the idea had actually reached out to other people that weren't on the project as well. Again, we've got another lovely tie-dye, beautiful colours, participants sort of going away saying, I love doing tie-dye, can I take some pillowcases away and create those? And so we've got some wonderful colours here. We've also got some more felting, as you can see, and I don't know if you want to sort of zoom in there, but we've got some really nice comments and some pearls of wisdom, I would say. So obviously something that represented and kind of resonated with that participant to sort of capture these sort of healing hands and trees and that kind of thing, and then also back it up with some lovely comments and thoughts. This particular piece was from a young lady that really has told me time and time again, I do not do art. I am not creative in any way. I love taking my dog for a walk on the beach. I do collect sea glass, but that's all I'm doing. I'm not being creative. I turn my back, and at the end of Community Club, I turn around and she created this. So again, it's like when you say to somebody, I'm just going to give you a theme, community, and then you allow somebody to use their creativity as a voice and a communication. Even the ones that say to me, I am not creative in any way, can actually end up being one of the most creative pieces that we have. So it's really lovely to see things evolving as we go round. This piece is basically a chap who really loves space, and he struggled a little bit sort of thinking about what he wanted to do. So I asked him, I said, you know, what's your passion? And he said, I love watching the sky at night. I love knowing what's going on in the news with sort of NASA and satellites. So I said to him, well, can you capture it as a galaxy? Because I said, even a galaxy and the cosmos, that's all community. It's just how you interpret that word. And we ended up with a lovely piece like this. So it really gives you a sort of a feel of being drawn into space. And although space is very vast and empty, there's a lot in there as well. I mean, if you look up at the night sky, just how packed it is with stars and planets. So really lovely representation and something really different. Then we've got some lovely pieces like this, where we've got sort of like a lighthouse and then all the different things and it's about protecting community, is about protecting one another. It's about working together, and you kind of get that with a lighthouse. It's kind of out there, everybody knows what it is, and everyone knows it sort of keeps them safe and sort of aware of what's going on. So really, there you have it. I can't say any more about how great this exhibition's been. I would really love to, in the future, potentially exhibit again, and I think there may be something in the pipeline. So there might be an opportunity, although this one's finished, there may be an opportunity soon to come along and actually experience another exhibition. And my idea is that maybe we can carry on doing more pillowcases and maybe get more laundrettes involved, and maybe have a massive pillowcase exhibition across communities. But the bottom line is, Who Dares works to get people back into work, training and education. It looks to reach out to disadvantaged individuals. and it works to getting people back to being the best version of themselves. And I think really this pillowcase exhibition has shown for me the best version of what people can be through the medium of art and creativity.